Last time, Gary and I rolled out of Silverton and up into the Uncompahgre National Forest before this guy comes sliding into our camp. And he actually makes Gary and I look somewhat normal. So that's what we're going to talk about today, Garrett Petersen and his journey.
Elvis has arrived. Yeah, fuck, man. I didn't know you were gonna make it today. We got gin. We got a big. We're only half a bottle in, so it's got a big bottle. So
that's good with me. I'm gonna need to get fucking drunk because tomorrow's gonna be a long day.
Where are you heading tomorrow?
Trying to make it to Durango. I'm trying to hitchhike down there.
Hitchhike
the scooter down there.
You're gonna try to put it in the back of somebody's truck.
Yeah.
Montrose is a good town to try to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a Saturday, so everyone's traveling.
Yeah.
It's only if I can make it within fucking 100 miles. It's like 120. I can use AAA, but I try to avoid that shit.
Yeah.
AAA sucks.
Pussy ass fucking AAA.
Yeah. And so,
dude, I'm so glad you made it.
Me fucking too.
Yeah.
You can hear this thing is fucking bad.
Well, it sounds like you're hauling ass through here, man. I was like, nah, that's not a scooter. That's a fucking 4x4.
No. Nope. That's
Ooh, I love the white walls. That's classy.
The white walls that's what makes it.
Yeah.
That's a high dollar tire.
That's fucking pimp as shit.
$55.
Yeah.
From a Vespa dealer.
Yeah.
That's always a good sign, right?
You got oil. A little bit.
It's wet. But it's too thin to hang on to it.
It's slightly damp, so we're good.
Yeah.
Chicken fried chop. You've added some sponsors and stickers and stuff since I saw you.
A couple of them. I added stickers from people that like helped me out.
Yep.
So like the guy that when I blew up the first motor,
yep.
I did it at this guy's house.
Yep.
A California cop gave me a ride, so I got a badge from them.
Oh, wow.
Blue Planet Scooters.
Yeah.
Helped me out with parts in Salt Lake City. Asked me about my butthole. Is a guy in Santa Rosa.
Wait.
That picked me up when I snapped a bunch of belts.
Oh, wow. That's great.
And so, yeah. It's just
I want to go hang out with that dude.
He's cool, dude. Yeah. Yeah. And so.
Dude. This is new. I don't remember your pink basket.
No, I put that on
really...
right before I left.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
All right. Dude, you're
I
a...
love the white wall, though.
The white wall's
It does make
The
it.
white wall is
like,
so fucking pimp.
That's like almost historical for me, having a white wall in the rear.
Yeah.
Like,
I saw your Instagram when you put it on. It was like, dude, that just makes the bike.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's fucking... I have to. It's like I run white walls on the back of my FXR all the time.
Yeah.
So you're like 300-mile range with your extra gas tank.
They're 170.
Oh, okay. Oh, shit.
Yep. Not quite as good as I thought. It's not getting as good a mileage as I thought, but it's loaded down and I'm running it wide fucking open.
Yeah, I'm impressed, man. I'm impressed. You're like, meh, meh.
35.
Yeah. 35 on a good day. Like 28 on
Yeah,
a bad day.
we've been trying to figure out. So you're supposed to be. I'm supposed to be able to see where you are on the map, except you're offline all the time.
Yeah, and I was trying to figure that out today.
It would be helpful if you figure that out, because other people would be like, "Yeah, I'll meet you wherever you are." I'm not hanging out in fucking Montrose all afternoon. That's why I was like, "Yeah, let me know."
Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to tell because shit goes downhill so quickly on the scooter.
It's fine. If I saw you were like an hour out, I was like, oh, I see where he's at. So if nothing breaks, then he'll be here tonight. But I was like, he's probably not going to be here
We were trying to figure out how you got from 50 in Nevada up to Dinosaur.
Yeah. Explain that.
What
That's the shortest route without taking any interstate.
Yeah, because I know
we
that
figured it was the interstate.
Yeah,
I've done 50 across Nevada from Carson City.
Yeah.
And it I can't remember the name of the town, but it jumps up on 15 and then it goes up into 70.
Yeah. That's over in Utah.
Yeah.
And so once it jumps up to 15, it's north of Beaver by like 50 miles. And then it turns to 70. I don't know where that is. South of Provo.
Yeah, south of Provo.
And and I was like I had a bunch of options. Southern Utah is kind of fucking hot and dry, and I didn't want to be down there.
Yeah.
And
no
You
doubt.
just came from
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah, I saw you sitting down there. I was like, nah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go through there. And then
Sucks.
the northern route was the shortest.
Yeah.
It was like or 50 miles shorter. And I got to stop into Salt Lake. And I like Salt Lake.
Yeah, I like Salt Lake too.
Yeah.
The biggest question is, do you want water or do you want vodka or a gin?
Gin.
Let's go gin too.
They were horrendous.
Well, I mean, you rebuilt the engine before you left.
Yeah, I put a big bore on it before I left. And so it was like 72 cc's or something like that.
But for the people that don't know, you're a diesel mechanic.
Yeah, I'm a heavy duty.
So yeah, you're not a lightweight backyard guy.
No.
That you know what you're doing.
Yeah, I built engines for Caterpillar.
Yep.
And so it's kind of little engines are a little simpler.
Yeah. Yeah.
A little bit.
One cylinder.
Yeah.
2 valves.
Yeah.
Easy stuff.
The cylinder head torque is just kind of like yeah.
Okay,
That feels right.
Yeah,
That feels right.
I know
And it's Chinesium, but it don't matter because it could break at 12 pounds. It could be
break at 22. You have no. Yeah, and the low quality parts is the biggest thing that kills those motors. They're a well designed engine.
So here's my question.
They're Chinese engines.
The Chinese engines.
Yeah.
Here's my question. You're not familiar with C90 Adventures, are you?
Ed March?
Yo,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
so
he's like my favorite traveler. of all
okay,
time.
so if Honda came out and said, "Hey, we got this new C125, that's the new C90,"
Yeah.
what would you think about doing the same thing coast to coast and back?
Yeah, that would
You
be,
do that totally?
That'd be the only brand and the only bike that I would run behind.
Okay.
That's a big problem that I have with sponsorships, whether it's monetary or not. I won't talk about anything that I don't wholeheartedly believe in.
So you're not promoting this brand, in other
Kowtow?
words.
Fuck no. They asked. No. I think they hired a company to develop their Instagram page.
Yeah.
And they're just on this weird, like, they're reposting my pictures. And
Of course they
and
are.
All this
Look
shit
at this
is
guy.
Like, I got pictures
He's
of
only
them
rebuilt it 12 times.
in the redwoods, and I was like, you guys shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Like that is drastically irresponsible because they will
Right.
click on my page
Right.
and see exactly how much shit's broke.
Yeah.
It's like everything.
Yeah.
I've broken 3 belts, 2 motors, 3 motors.
Yeah.
Tires, fucking everything. Wheels cracked right now. Like,
You got a crack in the wheel.
I got a crack in the rear wheel. I have to
You
run.
need some JB weld?
No. I just run a tube in it now.
All right.
Fucking everything. Wore out a variator.
So, Tao, do not do what you're trying to do.
No.
Honda, call me. Do this. Honda, call me.
I don't ask for that.
Dude, why not? Why
Because-
not? Because you'd be a fucking super. Look at Ed March. Jesus, he's a fucking superstar.
Yeah.
He's riding around, what, a 40-year-old motorcycle?
Right now,
Yeah.
he's in a Jeep.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, mini Jeep.
He blew it up?
The mini Jeep?
I haven't watched
the
him.
scooter? Oh, the scooters blow up all the time. He's the only one that fucking does roadside rebuilds like I do.
Dude, yeah, he's a fucking god, just like you are. He's a complete god.
But
Rides across the fucking Uni fucking salt flats naked.
yeah,
I'm the
fucking
only other guy that's done that.
rides Trans Canada
Yeah,
starting in November.
yeah.
Like,
Jeez.
yeah, and it was like starting to warm up, and he's like, "Cool, let's go. Let's do the Trans America now."
Yeah, you guys are
Oh,
you
God.
guys are brothers from another
Yeah,
mother. As far as I can see,
I want to meet
you're
him really
both
bad.
funny. You're both fucking idiots.
Yeah.
He's a little bit older than you, so he
Yeah.
should have a little bit more sense. But yeah, you guys are.
No, he's a tough son of a bitch.
Yeah.
He is.
I wanted to ask you is like, once you get east of the Rockies,
Yeah.
I mean, you got to go through some pretty high passes to
Yeah.
get there. What are you going to continue on 50 all the way to the east?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And what's your final stop?
I don't know.
Because I
So-
remember you talking about Maryland.
Yeah, Highway 50 ends in Ocean City, Maryland.
Okay.
Yeah. But I also know that you talked about trying to get with your buddies
In
up
New
in
York
Jersey
City. Yeah.
to do the chopper build.
So the whole plan is Ocean City, Maryland's the final stop on 50. From 50, I'm going to go to New York City, Long Island, actually. And my buddy just got his shop set up with tube benders and TIG welders and chromoly tubing and all the shit to chop bikes. That's what he does. And
So you're gonna stretch that fucker out.
yeah, I'm gonna put like a big. It's gonna be like a 48 or 50 degree rake. Like it's gonna be a long bitch.
That's gonna be awesome.
Like 5 foot minimum front end with a 20-inch front wheel
Yeah.
off of a bicycle, and so it's gonna be fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And with a 2-gallon gas tank, a little chopper tank, but
Yeah.
2 gallons is all you need for that.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna take it up to Maine, and then start on my way back down. And I don't know what's gonna happen if somebody is like the second that it gets to the first chopper event. That's cool. That's
Yeah.
I've accomplished my goal.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
rode it from fucking California.
You rode it from fucking Casper
I ran it
to
from
California.
Casper to California.
I did 2,200 miles before I turned inland,
Yeah.
and I rode it there, and then it's just gonna have a for sale sign on it, and just like whoever offers me the
I
most
guarantee
money.
you, it'll probably go for 10 times what you paid for it.
Yeah,
I guarantee you.
I want it to go to the Maggie Valley Motorcycle Museum.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I really like those guys,
Yeah.
and so if I could get it into that museum, I'd be super happy.
Yeah.
But the money makes more sense. Like
Yeah.
if I can
Yeah.
sell it to somebody who wants to like pay me for it,
Yeah.
I could.
Put it in a box and hang it on their wall,
Yeah.
which is totally.
It would literally just be a wall
Yeah.
hanger.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Well, not only that, but I mean, in addition to all the videos that you've made and the Instagram stuff that you've, to have all of that to go along with the story,
Yeah.
it was like,
Well, so I see you're missing one thing.
what?
Big fucking pink pimp hat. That's the what. So that's what I'm thinking is that's what everybody should reach out and go. Okay, where's the big fucking pimp hat that you get to roll into fucking Maryland or Maine or wherever you
I
wind
was
up.
going to say, roll into Long Island with that big pimp
Yeah,
hat.
pimp,
Yeah.
big
That would be
fucking
good.
pimp hat.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Everyone's like, get a pink helmet, get a pink helmet. And I'm like, they don't make
No, no.
showies in pink.
No.
like,
No.
Yeah.
like,
Dude, I'm amazed that you survived all the way to California and all the way back.
I
I've
am too.
survived.
I am too. I thought I was gonna be killed by now.
Yeah.
like legitimately.
Well, okay, here's the other question. How many times have you been pulled over? Because I've seen
4.
pictures. 4? That's
Yeah.
it?
Once in Casper,
Yeah.
I had 5 miles on the scooter.
Yeah.
I was jumping off curbs.
Yeah.
That's right. I remember you.
Oh,
yes,
you were
You got
cut
trouble
loose.
because he was
Yeah.
jumping off curbs.
Yeah. The second time was Idaho,
Yeah.
and I don't know why they pulled me over. They said I was crossing the white line, which I was. I was trying to let them pass.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "You're in a motorcycle
You mean
club."
you were on the shoulder
Yeah, I was on
crossing
the
the white line?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're like, "You're in a motorcycle club," and I'm like, "I'm on a pink scooter." No, the fuck I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you just go through gang training? Like, did they tell you that dirty long-haired kids with hand tattoos are fucking criminals? And they were so sure of it. And then they're like, "Why is there a Toyota Camry plate on your
Yeah.
scooter?"
Yeah.
And I was like,
'Cause I'm a
"Don't
pimp.
think they come in that size. I think Toyota Camrys have full-size plates. I'm not sure, but you put the numbers in wrong.
Yeah.
That's what happened."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh no, we didn't." And I'm like, "Yeah, because I definitely I stole a Toyota Camry plate and shrunk it.
Yeah.
That's how I got it. Yeah, it's not
Turned it
legitimate.
into a motorcycle plate.
And
you know?
and then I got pulled
hammered
over.
it down?
Yeah, hammered it down. Right. Then I got pulled over in Oregon, and because I was riding the shoulder,
Yep.
and the cop was like, you can't ride the shoulder in Oregon. That's illegal." And I was like, "Okay, you want me to impede traffic?" And he's like, "Oh, you can't do that. That's illegal."
Yep.
And I was like, "So what do you want me to do? I can't just like ship the fucking bike to California."
Right.
And he's like, "Well, you can't ride it here." And I was like, "Well, what do you want me to do? I can't ship the bike to California." He's like, "I don't know. You can't ride it though." And I was like, "So give me the ticket or leave."
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to change my mind. You give me
Right.
a ticket, I'm not going to pay it. I'll have a warrant out in fucking Oregon, and I'll continue on my way. Like,
What county
it was outside of Corvallis. It was highway patrol, though.
Okay. Oh.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, they're serious.
Yeah, they're
They don't break the laws.
Yeah, and
So they just wrote you a ticket.
No, he didn't
No.
write me a ticket.
He's
Okay.
like, yeah, no, you're right. You're
Yeah.
right. I'm wrong. You're right. Okay, continue on your way.
It's just so if you can convince a cop that them writing you a ticket matters doesn't matter in the slightest sense, they won't write you a ticket.
Yeah.
If they know
that's a hard job, but I guarantee you can do it many times.
It works. It's just like, oh, what? Wow, oh man.
Yeah, you're right.
Put a warrant out. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. And
and
then in California, I didn't really get pulled over. I blew a tire. Well, those tires are too thin to plug.
Yeah.
With standard plugs.
Because I remember
they're like thick inner tubes.
You posted the picture with the plug in it.
Yep.
But it was like, dude, that's not gonna work.
No, and it's like I've plugged motorcycle tires a bunch. Like normal motorcycle tires will hold plugs.
Right.
And this one was holding plugs until it started to get thin, and then it started spitting them out. And then I went through 10 plugs.
Yep.
Like just because they kept spitting them out.
Yeah.
And then I ran out of plugs, and I was like, motherfucker, what's the option here? I'm like, well, we pulled the tire off, and I have to pull the tire off with the wheel on the scooter because I don't have a big enough wrench.
Yep.
Take it off anyway. Breaking the bead's really easy though when you have a tire blowout. I mean, it just fucking falls off.
Yeah.
and pulled the tire, patched it with tube patches on the inside of the tire.
Right.
Awesome.
Which they were holding pretty well. They stuck really well. Cool. And then I couldn't seat the bead again.
Yep.
And because I just have a little hand pump, and I was like, motherfucker. I didn't have any starting fluid. I had gas, and I was like, okay, let's light California on fire again, and dumped some gas into the tire, rolled it around, and lit it.
Yeah.
And it held, but 2 of the patches got gas on them, and it takes that rubber cement and just melts it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so it was like, well, I'll take it off and try it again, I guess. And I had the tire off it was a park ranger, California park ranger, pulled up. And he was like, hey, what's going on? And I'm like, oh, I'm just trying to get this tire to work. And he sees the gas can and everything. And he's like, I hope you're not trying to seat that bead. And I was like,
oh, no!
Yeah. And
that's class 2 felony right there in California.
And he was like, and I was like, yeah.
No.
And he's like,
no.
He's like, oh, is there anything I can do to help? And I'm like, yeah, you can give me a ride to town as a joke. Yeah. And he's like, okay.
Nice.
And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And he looked over at his partner and he was like, yeah, roll the truck around. He's like, well,
it's a pickup truck.
Truck? Yeah.
Yeah, fuck awesome. Yeah.
And then we threw it in the back of the truck. He helped me load it in there.
That's
I'm
great.
like taking videos sitting in the back of this and then posting them, and people are like, your Uber drivers look angry.
Yeah.
And I was like, they were so nice.
Yeah.
So fucking nice. And
where was this?
In right outside of Fort Bragg. 12 miles north of Fort Bragg on Highway 1.
Nice.
Or 101. 1.
Yeah.
And he just dropped me off at the Napa, had a little tire shop, and I pulled in, and I was like, hey, I need you to use some of those fancy plugs. And they did.
What plugs worked?
Like a standard tire plug. Like for what they use on real tire shops. It's
like rubber, full rubber.
It looks like a patch, but it has a little male bit that sticks out about that far with a metal barb on the end. And so it plugs it, you pull it through, and then it has a patch on the backside.
Like
so
a mushroom plug?
Like a mushroom plug, but way bigger. Because mushroom plugs are pretty garbage.
All right, well, that's what I was going to offer you, because I've got a mushroom pack. I haven't used them,
Yeah.
and I can't imagine using them. But
mushroom plugs don't hold in as well. They'll hold, they won't blow out.
Okay.
But they'll push in.
That's why I got them, because I've used the standard fucking, push in, pull out things. And I was like, every time they failed on a tubeless tire.
Yeah.
I mean, I could patch the fuck out of a tube.
Yeah.
But, so I got this fucking mushroom thing, and I was like, oh, then I started reading about it. I was like, oh, yeah, they do this, they do that, but.
Sometimes they work.
Sometimes they work, yeah. $50 later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the once you run out of those plugs, you got to order new plugs, and it's just a fucking shitstorm.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can go to Walmart and buy more fucking bacon strips and just keep stabbing them in there.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. It's like, if I'd have thought about it, because every time I've ever plugged a fucking car tire, it's bump bump. I put the rubber cement on there, and it fucking works. But every time I've used that on a motorcycle tire, it just shoots the fucking plug out. So I was like, maybe I should have just gotten home with the fucking no rubber cement. Maybe it leaks down, maybe it doesn't, but it's not going to shoot the plug up.
Yeah, getting the rubber cement to dry is a little bit of a trick.
Yeah.
I've used gas to clean the hole out.
Yeah.
Because gas will melt. It'll cleans tires really well.
Yeah.
Like unhealthily well.
Right.
And it softens them up and makes them tacky.
Yeah.
And I got one to stick that way. and it didn't stick forever, but it stuck longer than just trying to use cement.
So
And-
tell us what other road wisdom you have learned that regular motorcycle folks, nobody's going to be crazy enough to do the shit that you're doing.
Yeah.
What can me and Gary and other folks what can we learn from you to go, always do this, never forget to do what is it?
The only real thing that I say that I haven't figured out from anyone else is shit always goes right. It always works out in the end.
Good.
Everything.
Good.
You get a flat
So
tire.
don't fret.
Oh no. Like when you start fret, like I have a blown up motor and I'm 18 miles outside of town right now.
Yeah.
It's like
12
miles. But it's like, yeah, whatever. It'll work out.
Yeah.
It's like you blow a tire. Don't freak out on the side of the road.
Right.
Sit there. It's going to work itself out.
Listen.
No matter what.
Gary's got a motorcycle that we can get you into town.
Yeah.
You and your bike just hanging off the back. We can get you.
I probably will need to have it towed into town. It's mostly downhill, but
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like you blow up a motor, whatever, it works out in the end.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like
That's good.
People
That's good.
freak out. That's everyone's first reaction.
Right.
Is freak the fuck out and stress out, and the second that you start stressing about what's going on, the second shit goes really wrong.
Okay, but so you got all the wrenching skills that 90%, 95%, 98% of America doesn't have.
Yeah.
So how do you convey that same message to somebody like Gary who, when's the last time you turned a wrench on a bike? 40 years?
Yeah.
But-
Not 40, but close.
30? Yeah.
It'll still work itself out in the end. If you have a good roadside, right? You call a tow truck. I mean, it might be a little bit of a pain in the ass.
Bullshit! Stop that bullshit! Don't fucking make people believe that they can get roadside 40 miles away from the fucking nearest. You got to get better than that. Seriously.
You can.
You can.
AAA will give 100.
Jesus Christ.
AAA will give you 1 200-mile trip a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, it'll take forever, but just, I mean, what else do you have to do? Fucking sit there, hang out.
I've also heard there's an organization called
North American Bike Rescue.
Yeah, North American Bike Rescue.
Have you had any
You
interaction
can-
with them?
I have.
You can, and I don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
But I've read stories where people have been really stranded, and these guys have really stepped in to get them there.
And it works out typically. I see, not to talk shit, it's a good service to have, but a lot of times it takes longer than a tow truck, and you end up in more of a shitstorm, and they kind of freak out. I needed a welder last year in Maine, and I just put a post out there. I'm like, hey, I need a welder somewhere in this area. And everyone was like, oh, are you stranded on the side of the road? Blah, 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 blah. Like, freaking out. And I'm like, dude, no. Like, my muffler broke off. Cool. I can still ride it.
Yeah.
Like, and a lot of it is like, a lot of the people that you see posts on there and they're like, oh, we have a flat tire. Or my battery's dead and my bike won't start. I need a 60-mile trailer ride. No, the fuck you don't.
Yeah.
Sorry. Figure that shit out.
Bubba's 12 miles away.
Yeah. And
Yep.
it's like just literally the first person to stop. Be like, hey, this is my situation. Do you know anything? Do you know anyone in the area? Do you
Yep.
have a jump box? Do you know somebody that has a motorcycle battery? Do you know a tweaker that might have something laying around?
Some tools.
Like some tools. And it's like that is always my very, very, very last resort. Roadside assistance and like a biker rescue thing is
That's good.
like everything has to go absolutely wrong before I will even, like, I have to be stuck in the middle of nowhere with nobody that I know, with no cell
Desert,
service,
with
no water.
a hawk circling around going,
Yeah.
A vulture.
Yeah. That's about the time that I'll
That's
use
when
it,
you
but-
go, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll call.
But most anywhere in the country, somebody's gonna stop,
Yep.
and whoever's gonna stop, people that stop typically have some sort of resources.
Yeah.
And most of the time, if you just get a ride to town, you can figure out what you need.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
And
That's great.
Leave your bike there.
Yep.
Like, if you can take your gear, all your valuables,
Yep.
and leave your bike, nobody's gonna steal a broken down bike.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
like, there's going to be some tweaker walking 80 miles outside of town. He's like, yeah, I'll push this into town.
Yeah.
No, it's like,
I got a 600-pound Harley.
yeah.
Let me push this into town.
Exactly. And it's like, your bike's going to be okay. And just get a ride to town. Fucking go to a Napa. Like, and just be like, oh, there's a dude with a truck. Hey. Like, I have a flat tire. And they're going to help you out.
Yeah.
Eventually. And it's just like hitting on girls.
Yep.
It's the same thing as hitting on girls.
Yep.
It might not work all the time. But eventually it
But
will.
A third of the
eventually-
time.
Eventually it will.
Third of the
Eventually it
time.
will.
Yep.
And so, and I've noticed a little bit of a difference since I've got visible tattoos on how people want to act around me.
Yeah.
And typically, well, I don't really want, if anyone's going to judge me on that, I really don't want to be around them in the
Right.
first place.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's like I can, it almost, it helps. Because I can, if somebody's going to have a problem with it, I
Yeah.
can see that.
Yep.
And if somebody has a problem with it, they're not going to help me.
Nope.
Even if I didn't have tattoos.
Nope.
They're just not the kind of person that would help
Right.
somebody.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it's just like, well, that helps a little bit in the sorting process.
I always like the idea is like they start looking at tattoos and like, I'm not for sure. And you go, well, let me show you my bike.
Yeah.
This little pink scooter.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they're like,
Harmless.
oh, dude.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Well, I
What
don't
can I
think
do to help?
I don't
Yeah,
think I've ever
exactly.
been around you when you weren't smiling. So that I
No.
think that helps a lot.
No, yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm a
Pretty
kind
harmless.
person.
Maybe a serial killer, but mostly harmless.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like as soon as I talk to somebody for 2 minutes, they realize
Yeah.
like, I'm not
Yeah.
fucking me.
The only
I'm
thing
not-
that he's killed on this bike are, what, 3 engines?
3 engines.
Several tires.
Oh fuck, dude, it's. I understand why nobody's done it before. I've heard apparently allegedly there was one guy that attempted a Chinese coast to coast run on a 50.
And he got 3 states in, and
No, he made it most of the way.
Really?
But there's no record of him finishing.
Yeah.
There's no backing. There's no proof behind any of it.
yeah,
It was just I met one guy that met him,
yep.
and he was supposed to write a book on it or something like that, and I can't find any information.
But the NSA have precluded any conversation about the trip.
Yeah. And it's like mine's well documented. I'm not counting miles. My speedometer doesn't work. My odometer doesn't work. But it's like I don't give a shit about getting my name down in a book. If somebody doesn't believe that I did it, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like
Look at all the photos.
yeah, it doesn't matter. I have videos of me riding every 20 minutes.
So the evidence that I have is like, okay, you went from Casper straight north or straight south, right, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's genuine enough. At least you made it to Casper to here, right?
Yeah.
Or you found somebody with a pickup that was
Yeah.
genuine enough to.
Yeah. And I have got 0 forward advancement so far with any of my vehicle rides.
0 what?
Forward advancement. So every time that I've had to take it and load it up in the back of a vehicle, I went back and chased that once.
Oh, good.
And so like outside of Santa Rosa, when I broke 2 belts within 5 miles.
Wow.
The guy that picked me up was like, he came pick me up, drove me like 25 miles to his house.
You called him again.
The next morning, I ran that loop, so I didn't lose that 25 miles, and then started from his house.
Yeah, that's good.
So every mile is ridden on the bike.
Every single
Plus.
Yes.
Every mile
Plus.
plus.
plus a lot
Yeah.
from backtracking.
Because you've gone back to the original starting point to pick it up. Yeah.
Yep. And so, I got a little bit of like lateral advancement. I was on a side track in the middle of nowhere that was way off my route, and I got a little bit on the way back, but it was like, that's not forward. That wasn't on the route.
Yeah.
I didn't move anywhere on the route, so it ended up being longer in the long run. But yeah, and so it's like if people don't want to believe that, I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
it
no
matters.
shit.
It matters nothing.
Right.
Like nothing. And people are like, save your receipts for proof. And I'm like, all the proof I need is saying that I did it. Like,
My proof
uh-huh.
is seeing the bike in Long Island
Uh-huh.
with this hellacious rake.
Oh yeah.
And I'm going
That'd
like,
be great.
score!
Yeah.
That'd be great.
It's gonna be so ignorant.
If you can do it on a 50cc, 80cc
Yeah.
scooter, why isn't everybody else doing it on their 2021 Road King? Why can't, if you can do it?
Most people don't have enough confidence in
Yep.
themselves.
Okay,
They want to talk up a big game,
right.
but when it comes down to actually putting themselves in weird situations,
Yep.
they have zero skill set to get out.
Right.
And they know that. They won't admit it, but they know it.
Yep.
And so they won't put themselves in that situation. They won't ride by themselves. They won't do long solo trips.
Is it fear?
It's fear.
Fear.
Yeah.
Okay. 100% fear.
Yeah. And not like shaking in my boots scared,
Right.
but it's like it's
uncomfortable.
worry. It's worry.
Right.
And another reason is people think that it's harder than it is.
Yep.
It's like if you're not a shitbag, everything's gonna work out. That's when I say everything's gonna work out in the end. It doesn't classify if you're a shitbag.
Yeah.
If you're a shitbag, things will fuck you.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't work like that. And so people are uncomfortable with that. People are worried about people overplan. And they overplan things and so much. And they're like, oh, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to see this. I'm going to do this. And they plan every step of the way. And then stuff starts to go wrong. Not wrong. Stuff doesn't go wrong. They start to miss what they're doing.
Right.
They start to, I didn't make it to this town by the end of the night. Oh, I didn't make it to this sight point. And then they're like, well, I'm failing. No, you're not failing. Like the only thing plans are good for is fucking up. Yeah. Like when you run with a plan, you're just inviting room for mess ups.
Yeah.
You're inviting room for letdowns. Yeah. And that's like, I wake up in the morning, I'm like, yeah, it'd be nice to make it to Monroe's tonight. If I don't, I don't. Like there's no.
You have a plan B and a C and a D, right?
Yeah. I don't even have a plan A. It's just like I have a.
Well, you got a direction.
Rough goal.
Yeah, rough goal.
And but it's like
the bike starts.
Yeah.
I make it down the hill.
Yep.
I make it to Montrose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Now I continue on.
Yeah. And it's just kind of like it's like when you roll like that, there's nothing can go wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
And when nothing can go wrong, what do you have to lose?
Yeah,
nothing.
That's true.
Like
well spoken.
And yeah, people are always worried about setup. So many people are worried about gear and setup. Yeah. I can get on Amazon right now, get you $50 worth of kit that will make you coast to coast. $50 worth of tarp, sleeping bag, everything that you need will last long enough to get coast to coast. It's like, and there's so many like, oh, I need to have this sleeping bag. I need to have this. And people spend more time in the office researching their gear than they do using their gear.
Totally.
Which is a problem.
Totally.
It's a massive problem. And it happens a lot with ultralight hiking too. The guys that have the $2,000 to $3,000 packs, the 18-pound packs, don't use it.
I'm so glad you went there.
Yeah,
I'm so glad you went there.
It's the guys with the 45-pound packs. They're using a frame pack from 1978.
Yeah.
They're the guys.
Their dad's frame
their
pack.
Dad's frame pack. They've only had it. It works. It's the only one they've ever had.
Yeah.
Those are the guys that are through hiking.
Yeah.
Those are the guys that will like they'll pass you midday on the trail.
Yep.
And you're just like, what happened? Or how do you go so fast? And they're like, oh, just do it. And then you like talk about starting points. They started 10 miles farther back than you did. Yeah. And then you realize that you ain't shit. Like, and those are the tough guys. It's like people worry so much about gear. And then once they get on the road, they're so focused and gear oriented that they won't let themselves go. It's like you need to set up a big camp when you're going to be staying somewhere for a while. If you're in at 9:00 at night, why the fuck are you getting out your cooking system? Fucking, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to set up everything. Have a quick dinner, go to sleep, wake up in the morning, get out. And it's like there's no reason to do absolutely everything. Just people carry gear and then they feel like they need to use the gear just because they carry it.
Yeah.
And that's a big problem. So you end up with bikes, people that are not confident, they're overloaded, and they have no real skills.
Talking about us now.
No,
you are totally roasting us. Keep going. Keep going.
But
Don and I have already talked about it.
We're sophisticated though, so we're separate from everybody else.
We gotta lighten this load. This is too
we keep telling you, it's like, yeah, you're a fat bitch. No, you're a fat bitch. No, you're a fat bitch.
But you guys are actually doing it.
Yeah, we're doing it.
When you're actually doing it, it doesn't matter what you carry.
Yeah, totally.
There's people that carry way more gear than you guys, but they're actually doing it, and their system works.
Yep.
I'm just talking about things that prevent people from doing it.
That's what I want you to talk about.
And
stop talking about us.
Yeah, and so that's what I find where most people struggle.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a sad deal. It's like I started out.
Sad.
It's sad. I started out on a KLR 650 that cost $1,200.
Yep.
I did the Continental Divide Trail, including the bike, all of the fuel, my maps, and all of my gear for $5,000.
Tell it.
And not just the Continental Divide Trail. I did the Continental Divide solo,
Yeah.
with all hard routes.
Right.
And then I flipped a bitch, and I went and did the Highway 1 and 101.
Yeah.
And all the way back down to San Diego. And I had like $70 in San Diego, and I was like, that's enough to get back to Wyoming. And fucking, I was 19 years old. I had no idea what I was doing. But that's the beauty in it. When
you had no idea.
Yes. When you don't know what you're doing, you're
Right.
not sitting there focusing on every little piece of
And then
kit.
when you've got 40 years of fucking concern and worry and all
Yep.
that bullshit that gets in your way.
It builds up and prevents you from having fun.
Yeah.
And so that's
And it
kind
can
of,
prevent you from having that smile that you've got that's ear to fucking ear.
Yeah.
And you should be fucking, you should be in a bed somewhere going, oh my God, what did I do? I was so stupid to do this journey, but yet you're still smiling ear to ear.
I slept in City Park last night.
Yeah.
It was like right in the middle of the park.
Yeah.
It's like they had a free hot shower. I mean, what gets better
Oh my
than that?
God. You found one of those too.
And it's like, what's better than that? Nothing. Like I woke up, nobody messed with me.
Yeah.
I was warm,
Yeah.
and I got a shower in the morning. Like
Perfect.
that. When you set your standards low, everything goes good.
Everything's good after that.
Everything's
yeah.
good. Like if you have rock bottom standards, it's like if you're into dating twos, you're always gonna go home with a girl at the end of the night. Like it's just like that.
Yeah.
But that's the problem. It's like everyone needs to lower their standards a little bit when it comes to motorcycles.
Exactly.
And you don't have to do exotic shit to have fun.
No.
That's like I'm doing some exotic shit right now.
Yeah.
Like nobody does this. But it's like I think people 30 years old just got into riding motorcycles. They have a 1996 Japanese 650.
Yeah.
It runs like shit, but
Yeah.
it runs.
Yeah.
And they pack their gear on the back of it. I have just as much respect for them as for what I'm
I
doing.
love those guys.
I love those guys.
I love those guys.
They don't know shit about anything,
Nothing.
and that's perfect.
They don't care.
They don't care.
There's no standard.
They don't care.
There's no standard.
There's no standard.
You just go.
Yeah.
Have your adventure.
Here's what I just in my mind. This is what I see in the future is like. We go to Long Island, turns it into a chopper.
Yeah.
The people from China go, dude, can you come over here and ride one of these bikes around China and we'll sponsor you?
Yeah. I'm playing around with a couple ideas next year. I'm not gonna list them out exactly.
Good. Don't do that.
But a couple of them need big backing.
Yep.
And I think after this year I'll be able to secure some
I
big
think
backing.
you could probably do whatever.
But it involves riding not Chinese motorcycles in not America.
Yeah.
And so it's like I've done China and America, so now I need to do the opposite.
Everything else.
Yeah.
Everywhere else.
Yeah. And I have the expensive parts.
How about a Russian? Did you
No.
think of no Russian?
There's a guy doing it in Russia right now,
Okay.
and so I'm trying to do something else. But yeah, it's
I
gonna
just
be.
I just saw that in my mind because it was like, the Chinese are like, oh, our products are so good. Please come over here and show our people how good these products are.
We'll give you
Chinese don't ride
a
Chinese
gallon.
scooters.
Yeah.
They ride Japanese scooters.
They ride Japanese.
The only place where Chinese scooters are available for sale is fucking America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're the only people stupid enough to buy it.
Right.
It is a bad investment.
Suckers.
Like I would, if you paid twice as much, if you got a fucking Zuma,
Yeah.
I never have problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I had a
125
Ruckus.
right across America.
Yeah. It's like riding a Ruckus coast to coast is like, you can go 30 miles an hour.
Totally.
But it's not the 30 miles an hour. Everyone gets stuck on the speed.
Right.
Everyone gets stuck on you can only go 30. Well, I don't give a shit. Like if it takes me twice as long, it takes me twice as long. That doesn't matter. It's the fact that you spend all day going 30 miles an hour sitting there and then shit goes wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what makes it.
Yeah.
Is like when you blow up a motor at 5 o'clock at night, what do you do?
That's the adventure part.
That's the adventure.
Yeah,
because
I can ride 30 miles an hour all day, every day. But it's when suddenly it's like, oh god,
you lose a lot of options, and it's like
You have to be creative.
you have to be creative, and it's like, well, where do I think I can get to camp? What can I do? And it's like you don't have a lot of time to figure that out.
Yeah.
You can't hitchhike at 9 o'clock at night.
no.
Like
Tough.
you have to have that shit. You have to be somewhere safe by dark.
Yeah.
And if that somewhere safe is behind a Safeway, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But you have to get your machine and your gear there. And that's kind of what makes or breaks the whole scooter trip.
Yeah.
Is
Sometimes you can't get the scooter there.
yeah. And
That's-
the scooter I don't give a shit about if I have to leave it on the side of the road. I worry a lot about my Harley.
Oh
but,
yeah.
Yeah.
You've put a lot of work in the Harley, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of work.
A lot of work.
A
in it.
lot
And
of work in
and
that
it's like
Harley.
perfect. Like
Yeah.
at this point, like I know it's gonna need a bottom end soon. Who gives a shit? Not a big deal. But other than that, it's like I put 4,000 miles on it, and I had one failure. I had a head gasket blow.
Yeah.
Well, no big deal. It's a 6-hour repair. It's cost $8.50. Like. And it was like kind of just like I'm starting to get bored. It's like now I have something that does everything I ask.
Yeah.
And it's like
Cranks every time.
Yeah. What do I do?
What
all
the
day?
fuck?
Like,
What a disappointment.
yeah.
Yeah. So
And-
let me take a 50
Yeah.
from this coast to that coast.
Yep.
Oh, there's going to be some shit going
Yeah,
on.
I'd be
here.
surprised.
And I think there's only one step up from this. It's like I mentioned it in an Instagram post: maximize unreliability,
Yeah.
minimize availability
Yeah.
to parts.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that's the only way to go from here.
Yeah.
Is like because that thing's unreliable, but parts are fucking everywhere and they're cheap. Not everywhere. Parts are on Amazon
Well,
and they're next day.
Well, I remember when
cheap.
you had to get the new head.
Yeah.
You got it off Amazon, right?
Yep.
And it was like 2
Fucked up.
days.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But it was.
that's better than my tire.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But when you buy a $25 cylinder head off of Amazon, it's still a $25 cylinder head. And so I put a good 2 hours worth of work into it.
All right.
So typically when I'm working in a shop, my shop rate's $160 an hour. That's what dealerships typically charge out for mechanics.
Yeah.
So it's all said and done, we're right under $400 on that cylinder head.
Yeah.
And it's like it doesn't cost anything to me, but like lapping in valves in a campground, it's just like, oh, it's got to be done
Now you were saying you were trying to lap a valve on the roadside.
with sand. And it worked. I got like 80% seat on
Okay.
it.
Really?
If I would have caught it sooner, I would have been able to make it run. So valve lapping compound is just silica in a carrier.
Yeah.
What
So
is
you got
sand?
some sand and some fucking toothpaste
Soap.
or something. Okay.
And it's like that's silica in a carrier. It's the same shit, and it works the same.
Yeah.
Like you can't tell the difference when you're using it between sand and camp soap and lapping compound.
Yeah.
That's great.
Like you can't feel the difference. It cut kind of slow.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
The problem was I waited too long and it burned out. I burned out about a 4 millimeter wide section
Yeah.
of the valve, and it was about 2 millimeters deep, which is too big of a groove to cut.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, at that point, there's not much that I could do. I got it to seal and I got it to start firing because at first it wouldn't fire. It wouldn't
Right.
even make the compression of fire. And I got it firing. And if I could have found a way to crank it another 200 RPMs faster, it would have ran.
Right.
But it's just you have to, because you have static compression and dynamic compression. And when you have leaky valves, your dynamic compression can be runnable, but your static compression isn't. So you can't get it to start, but it will run if it's already started. And so it's just like this.
Push
whole
it downhill.
mess. It's a CVT.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
I can ride downhill all day at 80 miles an hour.
Even though I turned in much earlier than the other two, I think I drank most of the gin out of this bottle. But I did get up before the other guys, so I got that going for me. But yeah, I was still drunk this morning, and yeah.
Systematic packing.
Looks like you did pretty well. You stayed on your little mat last night. It's not too dirty.
Yeah.
Or hell, the dirt's probably from you this morning,
Yep.
right?
Yep, kicking around on it.
Yeah.
I've gotten pretty good. I used to roll around and roll everywhere and wake up. I would roll out of a fucking hammock. I've done that on a couple occasions. And now it's like I can sleep on this pad all night, and I can sleep on it when it's not flat, even when it's like really unlevel
Right.
and not get.
Toe strap. So you're, what do you think, a 50-50 chance you'll make it to town?
Yeah.
Them's is good odds, don't you think?
Yeah.
There's probably better odds than my tire make it back down to town.
I think we need to save your tire for that one.
That last trip? Yeah.
It'll make it.
Keep space.
That's the factory stick.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds very Chinese.
Yeah. Judging
Keep space.
is very.
Or death.
All right.
You ready?
Since Garrett wasn't sure if he was going to make it to town, even into Montrose, I guess he decided that it would be best if I came along and helped tow if his engine didn't make it. He fully intended to get a ride over the mountains into Durango, which was his next destination, but he was pretty sure his bike wasn't going to make it. And the way it was running, I wasn't sure it was going to make it into Montrose either. So, but it was just down the hill, and he didn't have to put that much strain on it. But yeah, he had a tow strap with him, and even though I was drunk, I was probably the best candidate for towing a small motorcycle, since I was the only one that had experience with it. We rolled down the hill, and it was a great day, and I got some pretty good footage of Garrett riding down the road, and that's kind of another reason I wanted to come along, is get some of the footage, because this is, whether you believe it or not now, this is pretty epic what he's doing. A lot of people don't have any respect for smaller machines, but for somebody to tuck their balls in their pocket and just get on the bike and roll through, it's kind of something really interesting that not a lot of people do. And you know, a lot of people would never consider riding a motorcycle anywhere this small, and especially pink. So I think it just has a tendency to show you what kind of balls this kid has. And that's not even talking about how dangerous what he's doing is. Riding a motorcycle is dangerous, but riding a motorcycle on a highway, any roadway where traffic is doing 50, 60, 70 miles an hour, and you're doing 30 or less, it's just incredibly dangerous. And yeah, he's been real lucky so far. I'm hoping he makes it not only up to the East Coast where he's going, but hopefully back to Casper in one piece. I'm not sure what his plans are when he leaves the East Coast, but it's something it's almost like cartoonish. It's like, this is so ridiculous what he's doing, and it, you know, made even more ridiculous by the pink scooter and the pink basket, and the fact that this grown ass man, this chopper dude, that's really what I would describe him and all the young dudes that are riding around on you know, chopped Harleys, you know, bare bones, kind of no thrills, no frills, none of that. That's kind of what I think of. And you know, he hangs out with other chopper dudes, so it's kind of interesting what he's up to.
It's starting to lose power fast.
Yeah.
He's losing the top end because the oil spot.
Yeah. Well, we were breaking the speed limit back there.
A little bit.
As we turned south in downtown Montrose onto 550, we started pointing the motorcycles towards the San Juan Mountains, which are quite intimidating, and the closer you get to them, the more intimidating they get. And I think it was starting to sink in as he was looking at those mountains. That's what you got to climb over to get to Durango. So it's really funny. Stopped and pulled up to the next light and told him, "Hey, did you know that you got to get over these things?"
Yeah, you got to go over those.
This thing's not gonna make it. Fuck yeah. Of course it's not.
And what's really funny is we were able to spot the only other chopper guy in the whole city of Montrose, and that's the introduction that he had to go make at the next stoplight that we finally caught the chopper guy. It was also clear that some of the guys that were passing did not really get what Garrett was up to, but that's what makes the difference. This guy on the sport bike here really dug it, and he probably figured out that he was doing this for fun instead of thinking that he's cool on a pink scooter. But yeah, this is the light we caught up with the chopper guy, and then the connection was made.
Down in Durango? Oh, fuck, there's like super big chopper dude. That's where I'm headed. Yeah. Oh, fair enough. Durango has a great chopper scene. Yeah, there's like 6 guys that are like fucking to the bone. Bridget everything. Yeah, they're great guys. Get down in Durango. Yeah, this thing's cool.
As we rolled out of the last light, I started realizing what kind of disadvantage Garrett had compared to traffic, and he even moved over onto the shoulder, which he's been pulled over for before, because you can't ride on the shoulder apparently, and that's the story that he told at camp. But yeah, it was kind of sad to see him go, but he had his own adventure to get to, and I had to get back to camp and and do my own thing. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and be sure to check out the other interviews that I've had with Garrett in the past. I'll put those links down below, and keep following along on my adventure, my low budget motorcycle camping adventure across America for 6 months, hopefully.